Hello, and welcome to the Being Human podcast, where we explore what it means to be human, physically, mentally, and spiritually. We upload an episode of this podcast every single week, so whether you're new here, or especially if you're returning and you have not yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You do not want to miss any of these episodes. On this episode of the podcast, I sat down with Dean Trueman. Dean really needs no introduction. Dean Trueman, former Cage Warriors world champion. He is fighting back on Cage Warriors this Saturday, 21st of September, live on UFC Fight Pass. I do also believe there are still tickets available if you want to travel up to Manchester to go and watch him in person. If you do want to get tickets, then visit HW1 Fitness on Instagram, hit the link in their bio and get your tickets through that link. Me and Dean sat down and talked through his whole career, when he started training, why he started training, from his first fight all the way up to him winning the Cage Warriors World Championship and his most recent fights. We went into his toughest fights, his best performances, the weight cuts, his favourite refueling meals and cheat meals. We went here, there and everywhere, but it was all to do with Dean Trueman, his career and his fight this Saturday. This was a great conversation. I do not doubt you will enjoy it. If you do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment below, share it around on social media and with everyone at the gym too. Make sure everyone that goes to HW1 Fitness watches this episode of the podcast and watches Dean, whether it's in person or on Fight Pass on Saturday night. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting Being Human. The Being Human podcast is brought to you by Mr. Bassett's Grappler's Coffee. Look at that shiny gold label. If you're a grappler or a fighter, whether you're a professional or a hobbyist, you need to be drinking Grappler's Coffee. Grappler's Coffee gets me supercharged for my training every single day. It is the most potent coffee I have ever had in terms of its caffeination, but it is beautifully smooth. And all you need to do to pick up a bag of this is to head to mrbassets.com and use the code WAG10 to get 10% off your order. And do not forget to pick up a bar of Grappler's soap too, whilst you're there. And now presenting Being Human with Dean Trueman. So let's take it back to the very start.
Yep.
When, where, why did you start training? What was your first experience with MMA or martial arts?
Yeah, so, when I was like 11, 12, started doing karate and judo, like traditional judo. Not judo, sorry, jiu-jitsu in Ilkeston where I live.
As in Japanese jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, that kind of jiu-jitsu. With karate with Chris Madden and Kev Topless did the jiu-jitsu fucking years ago. So I'd have been year 7, 8, so 12-ish. And then got a bit older, sort of grew out of that. Wanted to go and play football instead with my pals, so stopped doing that. Then I left school and got a job and I was like, what do I do at night? You know what I mean? And the lad was going from Ilkeston to Bushido MMA in Nottingham, where Rough Ass used to train out of. Dan Hardy, Daly, Jimmy, all them lot. I thought, there's something to do in it, so I'll go and have a look at it. And then I started going down once a week, did twice a week, started getting a bit good. You know what I mean? I thought, I quite like this. So I just kept going, and it was like, that's what I used to do after work. Instead of going out to the park with your mates, like you did when you was at school, I'd get home and I'd go to the gym and train. And then I sort of got hooked. And then Lee Livingston, my first ever MMA coach, he had the squad and he used to train with the Rough Ass boys. And then they had like a fight squad like we've got here. I thought, join that, see how I get on, innit? And then the rest kind of history, I just snowballed from there. And it's a weird, it's like a drug, you know, like training and fighting. For me, it is anyway. Like, you can't keep away from it and the buzz of everything. Like, training's horrible, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like shit now. Hate it. But then fighting.
Don't enjoy training?
I do. Until you get halfway through fight camp and you're like, it's tedious as fuck now. I want to go out. You know what I mean? I don't want to get home from work and then go straight to the gym and bust my balls for 2.5, 3 hours. But then fight week comes in and you're like, I can't fucking wait now, you know what I mean? It's a weird buzz and fight week's a weird feeling. It's great. And so yeah, it just stemmed from being bored after work, wanting something to do, and then MMA came into it.
Very much fell into it by chance then?
Pretty much, yeah, because the lads who I started going with probably stopped coming after 2 months. You know, so I was like, oh, good job I can drive, isn't it? I'll take myself down knots and train.
And you were with Jim and Dan, all of those guys from the very start, really?
Pretty much. I mean, obviously, when I was a beginner, they trained in the day, and I was at night. And then when I went to Lee's squad. Let's say a couple of years into it, I had a day off, and I said to Lee, "Oh, can I come down and train with you lads, like the rough ass lads?" He's like, "Yeah, but you'll be cannon fodder." I was like, "Whatever, that's cool." Training like Daly, Jimmy, Dan Hardy, all them were there. I was like, "Fucking yeah, man, I fancy a bit of that." Went down, got my head kicked in, and then thought, "That's amazing. I want to do it again." So I just carried on, yeah. And like say, rough ass back then, was that 15 years ago, say, was the biggest team in the UK MMA. I thought that in Wolseley. And I just thought, yeah, man, that's where I want to be. I want to be where they are, doing what they were doing.
So what year, this was like 2006?
It would have been, I'd have thought, yeah, because I left school 2005. So it'd have been like 2006 when I first started training, yeah.
And you were like 18, 19 years old?
I'd have been about 17. Started when I was about 17, just passed my driving test. So, yeah, back then. And I think I had my first fight about 3 years into training on Mark Goddard's show.
I was going to ask that, first fight.
Yeah, in Walsall, at Walsall football team's ground.
Was it an amateur fight, or were amateur fights not a thing back then?
This is where it like. So this is now like amateur fights now are so much better than when I was an amateur or when it was semi-pro. You know what I mean? But now the rules are unified. Everyone fights under the same rules. When I was a semi-pro or amateur, you go to one show, this was the rules. You go to another show, fight on that. Right, these are the rules. So there were no set rules. Like one show, you go, right, you can take someone down, you can't hit them on the ground in the head. Oh, shit, don't want to do that. And you go to another one, yeah, everything's allowed, you're not allowed to elbow, you're not allowed to knee, but everything else goes. So it's like, it was a bit sticky, and I just thought, right, I had 5 amateur, whatever you want to call them, fights, and thought, right, I just want to go pro because I know what the rules are. I can take someone down, I can elbow him, I can do what I want. Whereas I could take someone down at one show and I can't even hit him on the ground. So then it's a grappling fight. So I thought, I just want to go pro in it. I know what the crack is then. And so I had 5 amateur fights and then went pro. But if I was an amateur now, up and coming amateur now, I would probably be having 10, 15 amateur fights. You know, I'd have probably gone more that way because they're so much better, the rules, for me, I think. Because they're not that much different.
It's a lot more organised and structured, isn't it?
Exactly. And I mean, the standard of shows now is 10 times better than when I was beginning or coming up.
I guess you got a lot of dossers as well. Not dossers, that's a rude way to put it. But back in the day, you got a lot of people that just thought, I just want to have a scrap.
Journeymen as such, yeah. And
whereas now, like, those people, they probably won't even... A gym won't allow them to fight. They're just coming in saying, "Oh, in 6 weeks I want to have a scrap." It's like, okay, well, you can do a white collar. You can't be on that squad and do an amateur fight.
No, and I mean, I think a lot of shows shy away from them people. Don't want them people on the shows because I don't think that it doesn't paint your show in a good light. You know what I mean? If you've got someone that's, let's say you get people, aren't you? They've won 3, but they've lost 18. And they've lost them all in the first round. You know why they're there for a little bit of a payday. And I don't think it looks good on the shows, man. You know what? If I was running a show, I'd want legit amateurs on it. Not people that are just going to come in there. Mainly it's to favour the ticket seller, isn't it? Like say, so-and-so sells 30, 40 tickets. He'll fight this guy and he'll beat him in the first round. I don't think it looks great on a show either. So I think a lot of people shy away from that now and they don't bring the journeyman in as such.
Yeah.
You know. I've never fought a journeyman, which I kind of fucking...
Gotta want one.
Yeah. You know, but then, like I say, I wouldn't be able to motivate myself for something that you're going to punch him twice and he's going to fall down and you're going to TKO him. That would not motivate me. I want to go into a fight knowing that this guy can beat me. Right, and I'm going to try my hardest to beat him. because what's the point of going in there hitting someone and fall over? It does nothing for me. It probably boosts your ego, but when you look back at it and you think, well, it's false, isn't it? It's false security, really.
Yeah.
For me. But like I say, every fight I've had, they've all been legit. You know, the last few fights I've had, if you look at what some of them are doing now, you've got Charrier in the UFC, Mads Bernal, PFL, Hardwick, arguably should be in the UFC. And then that Giuseppe, but I beat that Giuseppe Ruggiero. I got robbed on that fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, like the last few fights I've lost, the legit guys, you know what I mean?
That's it. There's been no easy fights in the run you've had.
No, definitely, especially leading up to that title. You know what I mean? Aiden Lee, Lewis Monnet, they were legit guys, you know. Still are. Aiden Lee's still doing all right, I see. But yeah, an easy fight won't motivate me anyway.
Let's go back to that first one.
Yeah.
First fight. What was that like, the experience of it?
What was the first fight? I won by armbar.
Arm by armbar?
Yeah. It was one of them. You can take him down, but you can't hit him in the head, I think. So I did just that. I think I mounted him. I can't remember his name. I'd have to get my record up. But yeah, I think I armbarred him in the first round. It was unreal. You know, like, because the show, the venue, should I say, we weren't a massive venue. It was like a conference room in Walsall's ground. And it was in a ring as well, you know what I mean? It was in a ring, which is crazy.
Very Pride-esque.
Honestly, it's like... But... And I trained in a cage. Never trained in a ring. I was like, oh, shit, they got a ring. But yeah, I got in there, like, walked through, all my family and all my mates were there cheering me, and that is like, this is unreal. I get used to this. This is the buzz and a half, yeah. And then I won, and it's like, that is the best feeling ever, winning a fight. You know what I mean? Especially the first one. You're like, oh, you don't know what to do. You're like, rabbit in the headlights. You're like, oh, like, but yeah, it's the best feeling ever. And I think that's why a lot of people can't fucking leave MMA or leave fighting, because they need that buzz.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is that has that been one of the main motivators for you throughout your career, chasing that buzz, wanting to feel that buzz?
Yes and no. I mean, I just love MMA and I love competing. So that, and it's, you know, I left school and I've pretty much done it every night since I left school. I don't know anything else.
Yeah, so you know as an adult.
Yeah, as pretty much. And it's like, there's been times where I've had a bit of a layoff, and then it's kind of hard to get back into that routine of training regularly. But then when you do, you love it again. You fall in love with it. And it's just everything, like the gym, everyone at the gym, yourself, all the boys, you know what I mean? It's like a camaraderie that you get with all the lads. You don't get if you sat at home doing you don't get the same if you're playing football, you know what I mean? It's not the same, because you're coming in, you punch each other in the head, and you do form a bond, you know what I mean? So that keeps you coming as well. And then you got lads fighting that you train with, and you want to help them a little bit and things like that. So I just can't stay away. Also, get a bit fucking angry when I don't train. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of road rage. And my wife's like, you better go to the gym. You need to go to the gym this week. I said, why? She's getting angry, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, but look at this dickhead just fucking pulling in on me. And it's like, yeah, I'll go tonight. And then I'm all right. I'm calm for a couple of weeks.
It's interesting though, isn't it? When you're used to training every evening, at a bare minimum, you're used to training 2 hours a day every evening. Then when you take a few days off, I feel I've got so much energy. I'm like, wow, like, I'm bouncing off the walls. I've just got endless energy to expend throughout the day.
Burn the fucker, don't
and it just goes to show how much we're expending training. And then, it's funny, when you don't actually go training, you realise, oh wow, like I'm actually expending so much energy at training, because when I don't, I actually feel it all inside of me.
You know, sometimes, well, though, I get the opposite effect where I'm lazy. And like, I'll get home and I'll be on the set, you know, watching The Chase. I love The Chase. And I'll just start napping. You know what I mean? It's like 5:30 and I'm in a nap. Like, get up and go to the gym or run or something. And then, like, because I can fall into the other trap where I just get lazy if I don't come. mainly like if I've got a couple of days off, I'm like you say, bouncing off the walls. But let's say I don't train for 2 weeks, something like that, and I fall out that routine, then I'm a lazy cunt. Excuse my French. But yeah, and I get into that lazy trap where I just work, come home, have a nap, have my tea, watch telly, and I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like I say, my missus, I think half the time she just wants me out of the house.
So when did you sign with Cage Warriors? How many fights in was that?
How many did I even have with them? Was I 6 and 3? No. Can't remember, you know.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
You'd had a fair few then.
Yeah, but I fought on Cage Warriors many years ago. And then Cage Warriors disappeared for a little bit. And then when they came back, I think I had a fight with Adam Ventre on FCC. And then after that, I went to Cage Warriors after that fight, which would have been many, many years ago. Too. It's been too many years now.
But that's when the streak started, right? All the way to the belt.
Yeah, which was 2018, wasn't? Yeah, it was 2018 because I fought Corey Neaton in March of that year, and then I got put into the tournament for the belt, and then I fought October Monarch, December Aidan Lee. So yeah, 2018 is when I signed the multi-fight 5 deal with them. Then when I won a belt, I had to sign a champions contract. So I think that was another 5.
Talk to me about that lead up though. Like, what was training like? Because everything was clicking at that point,
Yeah.
right? Like, the whole game was coming together.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, what did help a little bit was I was working less. You know, I was working like 3 days a week. A friend of mine had set up a company, Screed and Floors, and I was like sort of working with him. And I was doing like 3 days a week, training a lot. But then this was before Jimmy had HW1 or even the Hardy Warhead one in Colville. So it was just me and Jimmy a lot. Was training a lot at John Skillen's gym in Loughborough. And I believe, did Jimmy get the gym in Colville? I think it was towards
2019.
Was that 2019? Because I'm not
2019.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, so I was just training a lot at Nottingham MMA with Paul Lakowski. And in the day, it was like the squad, the fight team was small. You know what I mean? So it was me, Jimmy was my main training partner, which is fucking loads of fun. And it was just me and Jimmy a lot. And then obviously on the nighttime classes when Jim was teaching his own classes, I'd be there. But yeah, it was a weird one. I was just all in, you know what I mean? And with me working less, that certainly helps. But
just the consistency of training.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's another thing that I've sort of got back this year is that consistency. And not to make excuses for any of my losses or anything like that, but the past few years I've had a lot of personal things going on in the background that don't help, you know what I mean? I've had a court case with my ex for shared care of my son, then my mum passed away and things like that. So that all takes a lot of your time and energy, you know what I mean? And the last thing you want to be doing when you've got all that shit going on, 'cause it's so stressful, is come to the gym. You know what I mean? And I was doing it when I was going through the stuff with my son and my ex. I was training, but I weren't really there. You know what I mean? And I had a fight. Yeah, I had a fight coming up. I had the Hardwick fight and the Sharia fight when all that was going on, and so mentally I weren't really there. I weren't training like I should have been. But again, like I say, this past year, my mum passed away last year, and that's got me back in the gym as well for my mental sake. You know what I mean? Like. And this past year, I've had a lot of consistency. I've been in the gym a lot. I've been trying to get a fight since like May. And I've just been consistently messed about with it, you know what I mean? So, but luckily, like I say, I thought, I started the training this year. Thought, I want to look to fight in May. So, consistently training. Never got anything. And it's like, okay, maybe June. Consistently training. Nothing. And then, I thought, right, let's go Cage Royce, see if Cage Royce can get me a fight, because we're sort of going to go on a small regional show and see how it went, see if I could do it still. And then Cage Royce come up with the Gavin Hughes fight. So all the training sort of rolled into one consistency, and now I'm feeling great. And like I say, maybe everything happens for a reason and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe all them fights that I got offered and then didn't go ahead this year, maybe it was all to build up to this fight, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably been to your benefit. Obviously,
100%.
2.5 years since you were
Yeah.
last in there.
Yeah.
And I can attest to that. The past, 2-3 years,
Yeah.
like you've been in the gym a lot sometimes, and then not so much others.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, since this place opened, I think, which we're talking almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
So the past 18 months, like you've been consistently
Just,
here.
yeah.
And one thing you mentioned a few minutes ago, which I think is really important to touch on, is that with training, it's not just about what you get out of it, it's about what you can give other people.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've seen you really grow into, Dean. Like since I started training, it's been 5 years now since I started training with Jimmy and Joe. And like you've really taken on a role as a coach as well, and a teammate. And I mean, next to Jimmy, you're the most experienced fighter in this gym. And all these guys, all of us are looking towards you. And I think that's something you've really grown into, and really, something that you've
put your
foot on.
I mean, that's kind of, obviously, when I retire from fighting, obviously you can't fight forever. That's something I want to do, you know, help the lads like yourself and the other fighters get to where I got and beyond, you know what I mean? And if I can help them a little bit, it keeps me in the sport, which I don't think I'll ever be able to leave it, which is sad in a way, isn't it? But it's been part of my life for so long. I don't think I'd want to leave it. I'd want to be here helping guys and passing my knowledge on. And like I say, it's like when you see you all competed a few weeks ago and you've got some lads fighting and you see people getting gold medals, you see people winning fights. It's like, it's a little buzz, isn't it? Like you think, fucking brilliant. You know what I mean? One of the boys is doing well. You want to see them doing well. You don't want to see people doing bad, especially your training partners, your friends. So that gives you that little buzz as well that fighting gives you. I know it's not yourself winning, but you know when I corner Riley or corner any of the lads, I get so nervous, you know, because I can't do anything about it. All I can do is shout stuff at you and help you that way. I get so nervous and like it's horrible. But then they get a result and it's like the same buzz you get as winning yourself. It's amazing.
It's so cliche, isn't it? But like we win together, we lose together.
Exactly.
That you feel it when one of us lose, we feel their pain.
Yeah,
obviously
100%.
not as much as them, but we feel it, and then we share in the elation when it all goes well.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think you should, because obviously I know what it's like to lose, and no matter what someone says to you, won't make you feel better.
No,
and what they're saying is right a lot of the time, but it don't make you feel better. Nothing can make you feel better.
For all the psychology, someone can give you the best, motivation, mindset advice. Losing sucks.
Yeah, exactly, and nothing can make you feel better. But getting back on the horse and improving is the only thing you can do in this sport, isn't it? What is it? You got to learn from your losses. That cliche.
Yeah, win or learn.
And you have, win or learn, and it is true, but it is so hard as well mentally when you lose. It can really mess with your head, you know what I mean? It's good to have good people around you in the gym saying things to you that you like don't listen to, but it is the right thing, and you do need to listen to that kind of advice when you lose. But best thing you can do is not lose.
Yeah.
But you got to surround yourself with good people, man. And I think we got a good bunch here, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
We're very good. It's not very cliquey. Some places are a bit cliquey with the gyms and that, but this place is good. More like a team, you know.
Definitely. I think anybody can walk in here and feel welcome.
Yeah. 100%.
And if you show up, I think you've only got to show up consistently for a few weeks, and you'll very quickly be part of the team.
And that's when the more experienced people like ourselves will start helping that said person, you know what I mean? Like, you'll see that they're here to learn, and you'll be like, you'll go over and help them a little bit. Whereas, some gyms, you get people, they're in and out, and you see one person one day, you never see them again. So you can't give them that kind of energy. But you see someone in here for a few weeks consistently, and you're like, right, I'll help him if I can help him. But then, you know, and that's good. I think everybody needs that little bit of push and help, don't they? And you've got to be you've got to be made to feel welcome in a gym, because they are very intimidating places, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you got like a lot of young kids here and that as well. You got women training here as well, and I mean, I can't imagine how intimidating it's for a woman. Come on a mat with a load of fighters and
big, sweaty, hairy men.
Exactly, with massive egos and that. But you know, they're made to feel welcome, and they keep coming back. So I think it's a good team unit here.
When you started fighting, or after you had a few fights, you were signed to Cage Warriors on your way to the belt. Was it always? Did you always have that goal in your mind? Were you someone that set goals and thought, "I want to get the Cage Warriors belt. I want to go here. I want to go there," or were you just taking one fight at a time?
Well, it was kind of one fight at a time, and then obviously they offered me that tournament, and that was it. Then I was just, my head was set on that.
I wasn't aware it was a tournament. Was it a 4-man tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we fought in October and then in December. And so once that got announced, my background on my phone was the belt and everything, you know what I mean? And every time I opened my phone, right, that's what I'm doing it for. But then when I won the belt, there was goals. Like, it was the belt and then the UFC, you know, and I got offered a contract with another show before I won the belt. And I thought, and it was good money, you know, and I thought, I want to win the belt and go to UFC.
Yeah.
That was my goal. So I turned.
Well, that's the route, right? For a fighter from the UK, win the Cage Warriors belt.
There's no better route than Cage Warriors to the UFC. But that was my goal, and I was quite close. But then Masvidal beat me. But you know, it is what it is.
I mean, one of my favourite fights that I've ever watched, by the way.
Masvidal.
Yeah,
it was a good fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the fight.
Yeah, if I hadn't messed up and gave him that sub, it could have been different.
Well, he was limping out of there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the leg kicks was hurting. There was working as well. But you know what? I've got a lot of time for Mads. He's a good lad.
You've trained with him since, right? He came down to the old gym.
Yeah, he's a nice guy as well, you know. He come down. I think he's shown a few techniques and that. We had a spar. I just got off a plane from. I've been on holiday with the wife, and he said, "Oh, Masvidal's down tomorrow." I was like,
"Good day for it."
I come in gym, probably still hungover from my holiday, and sparred with Mads, but it was a good crack, you know what I mean? There was no animosity. We had a good laugh, and he's a sound bloke. I wish him all the best, you know what I mean? He's doing well in PFL now. I'd like to see him go and get the belt, you know.
Toughest fight of your career so far, Mads? Would you say?
Was that what you say?
Would you say he was the toughest fight of your career so far?
Toughest fight? No. Hardwick was a tough one. It was so like, he's a weird one with Hardwick, because he just comes forward and you're like, fuck off, mate. You know what I mean? He just comes forward at you. His pressure is good.
He's like a Holloway. That's what I think when I watch him fight.
And he's good. You know what I mean? I like Hardwick. I'm glad to see him doing well as well. Charrier was a tough fight. He was super strong. You know what I mean? But again, the Charrier fight especially is a fight I probably shouldn't have been in there doing. I went on holiday the next day. I think I was in holiday mode in that fight as well. You know what I mean? I flew to Florida the next day. I think I was in holiday mode, and I had all the personal shit going on. But yeah, I'd say Charrier was a tough fight. Hardwick was a tough fight. Masvidal, I was loving that fight. I was enjoying that fight. You know what I mean? And I thought, I'm gonna get up here. As soon as I went to get up, he got his necktie on. I was like, probably should have just sat on. I should have probably just stayed on the ground, lost the round, and then carried on standing in the third. But you know, I just thought, I'd get up here, get up. If I get up, I can beat this guy. As soon as I dug my under up to start getting up, he set his choke up, which he's very good at as well.
Oh yeah, that's his signature. He goes for that in most fights.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, I think probably Hardwick and Charrier was the toughest. Corrin Eaton weren't a tough fight. It was a fun fight. It was a scrappy fight. But Yeah, I'd definitely say Charrier and Hardwick. Hardwick just because there's constant pressure. It like puts you off your game a bit. You're like, just take a back step, mate. You know what I mean? Come on. Plus, he was a big boy. I think I was a featherweight fighting at lightweight then, whereas now I'm a lightweight. You know what I mean? I've took 2.5 years out.
Well, that's probably one of the best benefits, right, of taking time out.
Yeah.
You've allowed yourself to grow into the weight class.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of... I've done more weights than I've ever done, you know, with Togan downstairs. And just put natural weight on, I think. You know, when I was at featherweight, them weight cuts at featherweight was killing me.
Yeah, how difficult were they?
Really bad.
What kind of weight were you at the start of camp? So you got to weigh in at 66.
Yeah.
What weight were you starting camp at?
Probably around 78, 80.
Yeah.
Especially for the later featherweight fights. But then, like, week of the fight, I'm like 74. So I'm cutting from 74 to feather, and it was just a lot, man. The hot baths. I remember it was actually the Charrier fight when my Thai coach, Alan, was at my house doing the hot baths with me. And the last hot bath we did, he took a photo of me on the bathroom floor, and I looked dead. Honestly, I really looked dead. And he said, if you was not on weight, I was going to pull you from that, because there's no way you could have got back in the bath. And luckily, I was on weight, but like my voice goes and everything, it's horrible.
That's a massive amount of like an actual cut, because that's not just dieting down. You're going from 74 to 66. You're losing that in water weight.
Yeah, and I think
not everyone can do that. I remember you saying that you think you've got a good body for weight.
Yeah,
as tough as they were.
Yeah, they was not good, but I think I adapted well with them, and I did them well. But then it's like, I know I get water and things back in me, but I think what's been took out of me, that 24 hours rehydration, is not enough. You know, for my strength, like in the gym when I was fighting at featherweight, I felt strong. Like my takedown defense was good and on point. And then I fought Charrier after the weight cut, and I just felt weak as piss. You know what I mean? And he felt super strong. So it's probably a mixture of him actually being strong and me being super weak from the weight cut, because he just took me down at will. But yeah, them weight cuts, man. Even the Giuseppe Ruggieri fight, I felt weak in that fight. Even though I rocked him a few times and all that, I still felt a bit weak. And I just think that weight cut to 66 was not doing me any favours anymore. And that's ultimately why I said I can't fight unless fight lightweight. It's got to be lightweight. So I bulked up a little bit and see how I go against Gavin Hughes.
Yeah. I mean, wisely or stupidly, I've done some, what I would say are pretty big cuts for my comps and matches. I mean, this was just out of completely missing the mark on dieting down.
Yeah.
But for ADCC a couple of weeks ago, I ended up having to do 7 kilos the week of.
Yeah.
And
well, I've seen you up here with all your sweatsuit.
Yeah. Stupid. Just from my scale was like a bit dodgy, but really I was heavier than I should have been anyway.
Yeah. And you lie to yourself about the weight, don't you? I do.
Yeah.
Like, what do I weigh? It's like 80.8. Yeah, 80.
Yeah, I've eaten a bit. I could go for a piss, like this and that.
Yeah.
And obviously, with jits, like you're competing a few hours after, so like, you don't even have the next day thing. But
No.
I mean, like I said, you don't have time to refuel, rehydrate. My stomach, even the next day. So that's when, if it was MMA, I would be fighting. Even the next day, my stomach's not quite right again because it's not used to taking in the carbs and the water like it hasn't been for the past few days. So I can completely empathise with what you had to go through. What tips would you give though for all of us that, like I said, rightly or wrongly, want to do these big cuts for fights or matches?
You've got to be strict, and you've got to be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Like I just said, then you get on the scales and it'll say X, and you'll knock a little bit off. You've got to be strict with yourself. You've got to be strict with your diet. That's the one thing. And again, you got to know your body, and I know my body. I know that I can cut from X to get to Z. You know what I mean? But I think for fighters coming up, I would try, especially on a day of I would try and cut as little as possible, especially for a comp like a jits comp,
Yeah.
where you're competing on the same day, because it ain't good for your body.
No.
You know what I mean? You're putting your body through torture, and especially young people won't be doing it. You know what I mean?
Like Jake Wills, Zach.
Yeah, exactly.
Their
Them
bodies
young
are
up-and-comers.
really in a key stage of development.
Exactly. So the big cuts for them, I wouldn't be doing them. I mean, listen, ideally, if everybody said, right, I weigh this at start of camp, through camp, I'm going to lose a few kilo. Let's fight at that. If everyone stuck to that, there'd be no weight cutting. But no one's going to do that. Everyone wants that little bit of advantage, don't they? So
everyone thinks they can push the envelope a little bit more. Oh, I don't need to diet down another kilo. I can stay at this and then cut it the week off, and then I'll get that kilo back before I fight.
Yeah, it's all penny pinching, right? It's penny pinching for a couple of pound here and there. But again, I think be confident in your skill for one. You ain't got to be killing yourself in a weight cut just to get that extra bit of weight. You know what I mean? Be confident in yourself. And if you are going to do a weight cut, be strict and do it proper. You know, like.
What about when it comes to like the actual water cutting? Baths, saunas, or is one better than the other? What are the timings like?
I've always been told that a bath's better than a sauna because the sauna's the whole body, and apparently, I don't know. This is what I've been told. It takes more away from your head.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, they say if you put a towel over your head in the sauna, it actually enables you to stay in longer, which seems like crazy because you're like, oh my God, like I'm cutting off the ventilation. But it's based on that principle that you're protecting your head.
Keeping your head a little bit cool. So that's what I prefer a bath myself. But I have baths anyway, you know. I've been training, I like to go in a bath. So I like a bath. And I can sit in a bath hot and sweat. So I prefer that. Whereas I think sometimes I get a bit lethargic in a sauna. You know, but personally, I think for weight cutting, everybody's body's different, right? You're let's say we did a diet plan, yours would have to be different to mine. Yeah. And I think the same applies to weight cutting. I prefer a bath, but you might not like to sit in a bath red hot. You might prefer to go in a sauna. So it's one of them, I think. But I prefer a bath, and I'll do 15 in, and then I'll do 15 out under wraps, and then I'll do a cool down. Some people say not to have a cool down, but I cool down because then the body gets hot again and sweats better. Personally, is what I feel.
Well, I've heard that. I think I heard that from George Lockhart, who's worked with people from Conor McGregor to all the other UFC stars. He said you want to cool your body down all the way before you then go again. It's actually beneficial for you when you get on the other side of the cut to rehydrate, refuel.
That's exactly what I do, to be fair. So, and I ain't no fucking professional at it, you know what I mean? But like, it's coming from people like that.
It comes from experience.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, it's like bodies, isn't it? You might prefer a sauna. I get a bit lethargic in a sauna though. And then you got all the other fighters in there, innit? You know, all looking miserable as sin. Like, just get me in my bath in my hotel room with some music.
Bit of privacy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like, I can get out and a little knob out and just mince about my hotel room. But yeah, it's one of them, I think, as well. People have got to trial and error things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I trial and error things. I used to do it in a sauna. And then people are like, oh, hot bath if you can. And that was it. I hot bath and I loved it. So I think it's a trial and error thing. But again, advice to other fighters, up-and-comers, grapplers, I would cut as little as you can, especially early on in your career when you're an amateur or whatever. And then if you're doing it, do it with the help of a professional. You know, don't just like read things online and I mean, I've had nutritionists and all that throughout the years, so I sort of know what I'm doing myself. But if you've never done it, I think you should get.
If you're starting out, you don't have 10 weight cuts previously before you. You don't know how you're going to react.
So I think if you get a professional involved, and they'll like look at your pros, look at your McGregors and that, they've got a professional doing their cut for them and that. So why shouldn't an amateur who's never done it before?
That's it. Talking about amateurs rising up in level in terms of the fights, the organisation.
Exactly, and the way the standard of things are going, and why shouldn't they get someone maybe sponsoring them and helping them? I mean, McGregor's done it however many times, and he's still got someone doing it, helping him. You know what I mean? So it'd be wise to always have somebody on board to help you.
Yeah.
That being said, I am. But I'm
So
stupid.
it's a funny comparison though, actually, because he had a massive cut to featherweight. I think yours and his cuts were probably pretty
Similar.
identical in terms of, and I've always thought you've got kind of a similar body to McGregor as well, the way you're built with the wide shoulders.
Yeah, and a good beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I've got a pretty similar shaped body to McGregor, and we probably did do a big cut. And look at McGregor when he was at featherweight. Look how gaunt he looked. And fucked.
You can only do that cut so many times, right?
Exactly, mate. You start getting older, your body don't lose weight like it used to. You know what I mean? And
I think it takes something from you every time. Like you say, it's not good for you.
Nah, I think it takes a bit of your soul. Every
Yeah,
time, you know what I mean?
It's a bit of damage to the body each time.
And it's
so
like
if you run
your body's thinking, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Don't do this to me.
Yeah.
But you're doing it, and it's like, I'm just going to give you a little bit less this time. A little bit less. You're not going to lose that little bit like you used to. But then you have to go up, don't you? I mean, me and McGregor at featherweight is horrible looking fuckers, aren't we? You know what I mean?
Definitely don't look the most nourished.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's a good comparison. You look at my featherweight weigh-ins, I'm as gaunt as McGregor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you look at someone, you've got to think, that ain't good for him.
No.
But then, that's where he did all his best work, innit? At featherweight.
That's it, if you can do it well.
Yeah.
Same with you, that run up to the featherweight title.
Exactly, yeah.
Like
but then I think, like you say, your body don't want to do it anymore, and you can't do it anymore. So you have to take that leap up to lightweight, don't you? Yeah. I mean, look, McGregor's done good at lightweight, I mean, as well, you know what I mean? Fair play to him. So, I'll try and follow his book and do the same.
What's your favourite post-weigh-in meal?
Right.
Do you go all out? Well, this is the thing.
Nah.
Like, what we eat and what we should eat
can
be two very different things.
Right, okay.
Give me your favourite cheat meal and then what you would recommend, like if you're being sensible, what you would eat after a weigh-in.
So is this post-weigh-in, pre-fight?
Post-weigh-in, pre-fight, what you should eat. And then as a separate, give me the cheat meal, which maybe is actually what you eat sometimes after the weigh-in.
I'm a Nando's after a weigh-in guy. But then at featherweight, I used to have to sleep before I ate. You know, I'd go and eat, and my stomach was like, I can't eat. So
I'd go for a sleep straight after the weight cut.
I'd rehydrate with a couple of litres of water, and then I'd have to sleep before I ate. Otherwise,
that's probably good though.
Yeah.
Because again, that's what the sports nutrition, the sports science says. Give your body the fluids, some liquid carbs first before you then actually start eating again.
Yeah. So that's where I had to do that. But what I do is I don't eat shitty meals, but I'll have a bag of sweets. A pick and mix bag of sweets, son, you know what I mean? And I like crisps, so I'll have a couple of tubs of Pringles in the hotel room. Probably shouldn't, but I do.
So morale, but like, maybe it's just excusing it, but at the same time, you've got to think about what's going to make you happy and not miserable before you fight him.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's been so long since I've been able to eat them things. And I love them things. I've done my weight cut. I'm eating it. But you probably shouldn't. But I might not for this one. I'll be strict and have chicken and rice. But I tell you what helps me as well. Because I always, like you say, I start rehydrating with my made-up drinks that we make for rehydrating. And a fizzy drink always helps me. You know, when I perks me up a little bit, like a Fanta or a Coke.
Well, you need to replenish that glycogen.
Yeah.
Getting that sugar in. Like, you're going to get so much sugar from a fizzy drink.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, it wouldn't be good for you, but in that circumstance...
Yeah. And it perks me up somewhat, like, mental. Like, I've been dead from the weight. Still drinking that horrible, watery, salty drink. And then I lay a can of Coke and I'm, let's go. Let's go now. But, yeah, that's... And then after that, so on the Sunday, probably have, like, a kebab, a big dirty kebab, or
after the fight. Yeah.
Or maybe a curry. You know what I mean? I've not been for a curry for a while. So, wife, on Sunday, the 22nd, we're going to go for a curry.
Curry night.
Yeah. Curry or like, have you heard of a place called Hickory's?
Oh, I love Hickory's.
Oh,
yeah.
Stop it. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Their mixed meat platter, where you get a bit of it, and that. There's that rib, that beef rib.
It's
The most tender piece of meat.
Mate, it falls off that bone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, beer. We could go there if you want. It's up to you. You're paying. But yeah, unreal. I love that place. Icarus. It's better than Miller and Carter, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
You know
so.
what I mean?
I love it, man.
Smoked
It's
meat.
good atmosphere.
Yeah.
I like the American
proper American rustic
stuff.
bar,
yeah.
innit? I love that kind of stuff, yeah. So I might even go there. I don't know. I might even have both. Who knows?
Why not?
Yeah,
Why
man.
not?
Get the big
Have
win
both.
and then go, right, we're going to go Icarus for dinner and tonight we're going to go for a curry. And then I go on holiday the week after.
Where are you going on holiday?
I'm going to Stellar Island. It's actually my
Where's
honeymoon. It's in Crete.
Oh, very
And
nice.
it's like, yeah, it's really nice. Adults only. Chuck the keys in the bowl. Yeah, we go there. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got to fat myself up for that, innit?
Definitely.
Yeah, so we need to stop talking about food.
Yeah,
now.
I was going to say, I was just about to change the topic because I thought
Icarus, man. Love that place. Banging, isn't it?
So before we got on the tangent of what ended up being talking about Icarus and our favourite foods, asked you for your toughest fight. What about best performance?
Best performance would probably be Lewis Monarch.
I thought you'd say Aiden Lee.
No, because I did a few bad things in the Aiden Lee fight. Like gave my back up twice. That was his game. So I beat, was it McBain? Yeah, I think he beat McBain in the semis to get to the title fight by a rear naked choke. And then I gave him my back twice in that fight. So that weren't my best performance. I mean,
testament to your back defense.
Yeah, 100%. He had my back for like 3 minutes in the first. And then I think that demoralised him a little bit, to be honest. He thought he'd won. And I think he had a bit of an adrenaline dump. He thought, I've got him here.
Yeah.
And I defended it well for 2.5, 3 minutes. Got up, like, yep, Sam, that's the best he's got. And then put it on him a little bit after that. And I think that just demoralised him. But best performance, Monarch, because I seemed to do everything right in that fight, you know. Did a few bad things, but, you know, you're only human, aren't you? You're going to make mistakes. But ultimately, everything I did was on point and got a good win against Monarch. So, yeah, I think that was my best performance. Masvidal weren't a bad performance until the choke.
Well, yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's it.
And you look
performance doesn't necessarily mean a win.
No, exactly.
Like I said, one of my favourite fights.
Yeah, I mean, you look at where he's been, where he is now, and what happened with me and him. I think that was a good performance. Actually,
it's aged very well.
Yeah,
that's one that's aged very well.
Yeah, so that one and Monarch fight was good. Did a lot of things that we drilled in the gym. Well, I did a lot of that in the fight well as well. So maybe I'll probably go with Monarch, but I think Masvidal was a good performance.
I feel like I know as a given who one of these people is going to be. Top 3 fighters you've trained with. Who are the best 3 fighters you've trained with?
Got to say Jimmy, haven't I? Jimmy's he's an amazing coach and he's an amazing fighter. So yeah, Jimmy, 100%.
What makes Jimmy so good?
Just he's technically just amazing everywhere. You know what I mean? Like when you spar him, he doesn't ever go off. Like his technique's always there when you spar him with Jimmy. You know what I mean? It's not like sometimes I spar and I get a bit tired and I get a bit wild, and rather than picking my shots, it's all a bit big and more power than it is. It needs to be. Whereas Jimmy's just like everything's just very clean and technical. And then his wrestling's just horrible. Been underneath that comp far too many times. So Jimmy, are we talking MMA fighters?
Yeah,
MMA fighters. I mean, you know what? It's hard. That I've sparred.
If they're on were you thinking Thai fighters?
Well, I was going to say Thai fighters. Obviously, my Thai coach, he's unreal. Like Thai, his Thai's unreal. But then there's like, there's Jimmy, Al Whitten, Thai boxer. But the top 3 MMAs with Jimmy, it would be Alfie Davis. He's pretty sick. And then Dan Hardy. You know, technically Dan Hardy's fucking amazing as well. So them 3. I mean, You've got Oban Elliott. I know. I train with Oban Elliott. I forget about these guys. He's up there as well. There's a lot of them that I'd put up there. Mads Bennell. I've trained with Mads Bennell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So top three's hard. That's a good question. That is, Aaron. It's a hard one too. Right, I'm not going to say Jimmy because he's my fucking coach, innit?
Chuck him out of there.
Yeah,
he gets enough praise from us.
Yeah, innit? I'm not going to say Jimmy and Dan because I train with them all the time, right? So I'm going to say out of the gym and the coaches with Jimmy and that, it would be Alfie Davis, Oban Elliott, Norbert Navenny, you know, he's sick and all.
Yeah.
So there's that many of them that I've sparred with and that. But then there's a Farid and Bassett, Farid and fucking Javid, Bassett brothers. There's all them. But I'm going off tangent, aren't I?
No.
Them three I would say. Alfie Davis, he's good. Norbert's great.
Yeah.
Oban Elliott, he's great. I like Oban as well. He's a sound lad. So yeah, I'd say them three.
Yeah. So many good guys that shoot.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
even, like guys that people haven't even heard of.
Yeah. But them three, because I don't want to say Jimmy and Dan because I train with them all the time. You know what I mean? No offense, Jimmy and Dan.
They don't count.
Yeah.
Give me your top 3 pieces of advice. Well, we gave advice on the weight cutting side, but for actual fighting, because the weight cut is just for the purpose of getting to the fight.
Yeah.
For the actual, what we're here to do, top 3 pieces of advice for all the boys coming up, all the amateur fighters, whether it's a more experienced amateur like Jack Henshaw or someone that's kind of just starting out like Johnny.
Yeah, right. So for me, something I never did, look after your body, because that is key. You come in and you're stretching for 20 minutes,
20 minutes.
Right.
An hour.
Yeah. do that. Do that. Do more of that. You know what I mean? Maybe more after training, maybe people stretch more. Massages regularly. Things I never did, which now, as I'm getting older, I regret. I should have done that. You got to stay focused and dedicated. You know, you got to live it. If you want to be getting into your Cage Warriors, going on to the UFC, you've got to live this sport. You know, you're going to sacrifice a lot, and you're going to miss out on a lot. But you've got to keep that dedication. And just surround yourself with good people, good training partners, good coaches. I think that's my best advice. So look after your body, stay dedicated and focused, and surround yourself with good people. You know what I mean? Good friends that will support you. That goes down to the partner, your missus, your boyfriend, whatever.
Joe always says that.
Yeah,
he says like that's number one decision you're gonna make, especially in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have the support of my wife. We've got a young boy together as well, so I'm out at the house a lot when I'm training for a fight. But she supports me. So you need to support yourself. You need to get someone that will support you well. You know what I mean? Whether it's your family, your parents, you know, and obviously everyone in the gym. Like we said earlier, though, everyone in this gym are very good and supportive. So when I say surround yourself with good people, that is your friendship group, your partner, your family. They've got to support you, haven't they? So if you've got that, I think if you've got the support of your family, you've got a lot more than some people have got, or your partner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's it. That can't be underestimated, can it?
No. A good partner. There's a lot to be said for, you know what I mean? Especially in this sport. You look at a lot of the fighters at the top. They've got wives and that. They've been with together.
Well, that's it. I was just thinking about that to draw the comparison again. McGregor, he was with her from day one
when he had nothing. Yeah. So and she stood by him and done a lot more than we know. I'm assuming for him.
I'm sure.
So that's a key thing in your life. I think having a good support network. And that goes down to anything though, don't it? Mentally, when you lose a fight or something's not going right and you've got a good support group, that you need that there then.
So you can't just have friends in the team that it feels good to celebrate with.
Yeah.
You've got to have friends and team that know what to say. As much as it doesn't, like we said, it doesn't actually fix the loss. It doesn't help. You still feel shit. But people that you can bear to have around you when you lose.
Yeah, and they're going to support you when you lose, and not just fall off the face of the earth because you lost. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm sure a lot of the fighters at the top have had that. They've had training partners that are there when they win, and the training partners that are not there when they lose.
Yeah.
So you need that behind you.
I'm referencing him far too much now, but McGregor has a great quote: "Don't eat with people you wouldn't starve with."
There we go.
I think that's brilliant.
I mean, listen, what he's done for this sport, it should be a topic a lot of people talk when they're talking about this sport. He's done a lot for it.
I hope he finds his way, man.
Me too. Listen, McGregor, when he was the double champ,
untouchable.
Will we ever see that McGregor again? I'd like to. I'd like to see that McGregor that was just ripping the shit out of everyone, beating people.
Even just like internally, I'd like to see that McGregor again.
Yeah.
That look in his eyes, the person he
just did not give a fuck. Yeah.
Creative genius.
He was, and he beat a lot of people before he got in the cage with them. Aldo, he beat Aldo before he got in the cage with Aldo. Just through his trash talk and in the way he was. You know what I mean? Stealing that belt off the desk and stuff like that. That's the McGregor you want back, isn't it? You want that McGregor back. And hopefully we get that back. It'd be good to see him maybe go for another run at the belt and talk a load of shit, make you laugh. You know what I mean? But who knows? I know if I had his money in the bank, I won't be I won't be in the gym, son.
No, that's it.
You know what I mean? I know, like I said earlier, I kind of need it in my life, but if I had that money, would I need it in my life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard, isn't it?
What's I suppose we kind of already touched on it, but what was the motivation at the start of this year to think I want to fight? Was it something you just wanted to do the whole time, and like you said, because of the personal circumstances, you hadn't been able to get the consistency in training to be able to step in there?
Yeah.
Or was there a particular spark of motivation that came about?
Well, there was obviously the passing of my mum, and like, I thought I need to train for my own mental well-being. And then I was in the gym and I was training well, I was sparring well and things, and I thought I want to do it again. You know what I mean? And then I look at my fights, and I think I'm better than that. These last 4 fights, I'm better than that. You know what I mean? I want to prove to people that I'm better than that. I'm not a 4-fight skid fighter. I am a former world champion, and I can win fights still. That's what I want to prove to everybody. I want to prove it to myself. More than anything. Like this fight, I'm doing this for me, not doing it for anyone else. Really, I'm doing it for me, so that I know I can still do this. I can still beat these guys. You know what I mean? And that was a good motivation. And I was just sparring well. I was just training well, and I thought I need to put this to a fight. If I fight like this, then there's no reason I can't go and get that belt back. And that's a goal in itself.
Yeah, that's in your mind.
Yeah, always. Yeah. I mean, and then there's like these big shows coming to the UK and that, and doing big shows. Why can't I go and get on a big show?
Octagon are doing great things.
Yeah, make some nice money off this. I mean, I was watching that Dana White looking for a fight, and he's on about the UFC don't look for older guys. But then he put 2 older guys on the Dana White's Contender Series. Why can't I go and get a win next week and get a shot at Dana White's Contender Series? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Former world champ, good record, a lot of fights, exciting fights. Go and put on a good show, beat Gavin Hughes, and then why not? Why not go and get given that chance that them guys on that looking for a fight got onto the Contender Series? But that being said, then there's other shows that could potentially open doors. There's the Cage Warriors lightweight tournament for 50 grand. Why can't I go and do that? You know what I mean? Get a win. And all these avenues open if I get a win. And it's like, and I just think, why the fuck can't I go and take that by the balls and get that tournament if Cage Warriors do a lightweight tournament, beat Gavin Hughes, maybe got a Dana White Contender Series. I mean, I might be asking too much, but if you watch this, Dana, give me a chance. Or other shows, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, go get this win and see what doors open. Like I beat Corey Eaton and the Cage Warriors world title opened. So I took that door and got that. So I'm in that kind of situation now. Go get a win and let's see what happens. Cage Warriors might say, right, put you in this tournament. They might say, another fight, you can fight for the belt. So, that'd be amazing if that happened. And the motivation for me was just coming back, proving to myself I can do it. Like, I've not even pushed tickets. I normally should sell a load of tickets and push them really. I'm not bothered. I just want to go in there and do the job, get the job done, and prove to myself and everyone else, I suppose. As much as I'm doing it for myself, it is going to prove a lot to other people that I can still do it. And that's what I want. And I want that buzz of beating someone up again.
How's camp been? Been a good camp?
Looking dreadful. It's been all right. It's had its ups and downs, and it's had its challenges. But every camp does, But ultimately, on it all, I've come out uninjured, going into the fight as healthy as you possibly can in a fight. I mean, if you don't go into a fight with a little bump here and a scrape there and a little niggling injury here, then you ain't done camp right.
Yeah, you haven't trained hard enough.
Exactly. I've not been into a fight where this hurts, that hurts. Yeah, I don't think I ever have been into a fight where that's not happened. So this is no different. I've got bumps and scrapes and niggling injuries that you get throughout camp. But other than that, it's been great. I've had some bad spars. I've had some fucking amazing spars. People say, yeah, camp's been great. People are fucking liars, man. Camps, like I said to you earlier, camp's shit. Fighting and fight week's amazing. But that's just something you have to do to get to that fight, and that's the fight. The camp's the fight. The diet's the fight. The fight's fun, So camp's been like every other camp, There's been a little injury here and there. You've trained round it, sound, and then one day you're pissed off because he's not sparred as good as you want to. You know what I mean? But then you spar the next week and it's like fantastic spar. Fight like that, the guy's dead in the first. You know what I mean? So it's one of them. But all in all, it's been okay.
How it should be.
How every camp is.
Yeah.
Or every camp is for me. I ain't going to bullshit you and say, yeah, it's been amazing. I've been knocking everybody out and I'm dead fit.
Knocked Jake Wills out 10 times.
Yeah, knocked Jake Wills out. He weighs about 10 kilo. So you know what I mean? But that's the truth of it. Camp's been fucking horrible. It's horrible. You get halfway through it and you're like, fuck's sake, tired. But, we've got through it. We've got through it with as minimal injuries as possible, as fit as we can be. And the last few spars I've done have been great. So, yeah, that's camp.
Gavin Hughes.
Yeah.
What do you think about him? Do you pay much attention to your opponents? Or
no, I think with Gavin, I'd heard of Gavin, but I didn't know anything about Gavin. So I looked at his record. He'd had a couple of years out, I believe, before he fought Bungard on Cage Warriors last. So I thought, right, no point looking at his fights that are 3-4 years old, because he could have been out for 2 years, getting better. So I'll look at that fight, right, he does this really shit. And then he's improved massively. So I thought, I'm not going to bother about Gavin Hughes. I'm going to bother about me and what I need to do to beat him. So I've watched the Bungard fight. Can't take much away from it, really. And so I've just concentrated more on me and what I've got to do to beat him rather than what he's going to do. So yeah, I've just got to go and do me. If I go and do me, I'll get the win. I know he's a tough guy. He's a veteran like me. He's been around the block. So it'll be a good fight. It's not going to be an easy fight. I'm not delusional in that matter. But, it's a fight I wanted. I got offered a few fights that just didn't motivate me. Not on Cage Warriors, but on other shows, and they just didn't motivate me. This one did, because I know he's a legit guy.
You don't want an easy fight. As
Exactly.
much as you said about having a journeyman fight.
Yeah, I don't want that.
It doesn't motivate you.
Exactly. So, I've got a tough fight. He trains at Next Gen, I believe. They was in his corner last time against Bungard, so I know he's going to be prepared well. So yeah, it's the test I want, It's the test I want and the test I'll get next week. But
do you have a prediction?
TKO, second round.
Second round TKO.
Yeah. And whoever is storming the first, I'll finish him in the second. So yeah.
Final question that I ask pretty much everyone on the podcast.
Yeah. What
What does success mean to you? And what's the meaning of life? Are those two separate things? Are they the same thing? And what do they mean to you?
I'd say they're definitely two separate things. For me, success is going home to my wife and kids and seeing them happy. You know what I mean? That's success to me, knowing that I can provide for my family. Everything else that comes along with it is a bonus. You know, listen. Let's say I beat Gavin Hughes and I go on to win thousands and thousands of pounds. It's success in a way, but not success in the way I see it. I see my kids and my wife happy. That's me being successful. The meaning of life is to be happy. I think for me, be happy. You know, no matter what that is to you, your happiness might be different to my happiness. So the meaning of life is for me to be happy. And you know what? I've had a lot of shit go on these past few years, but I'm happy as fuck. You know what I mean? Probably shouldn't be, but the wife and kids make it happy. You know, and me.
Well, I think it's a testament.
Yeah.
After everything that has happened over the past few years, to say that you're in a place where you can say you are happy, I think that says a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Like, obviously,
it says a lot about you.
Yeah.
And your character.
Yeah, 100%. Like we said, me and the wife was on about it not long back, and she says, "Look, everything's been shit the past few years, but we good, you know what I mean? We happy, so you're winning, aren't you? You know what I mean? So yeah, man, the meaning of life is to be happy, and success is to see my family happy and looked after. For me.
I think that's a great answer.
Yeah, well, appreciate that. Nice one, Aaron. Also, what I do want to say, right, I'll put this out there. When I was the world champ on cage warriors, this Bellator fighter tweeted me. He says, you're the champ. I want to be the champ. I want to fight you. I'm like, yes, sir, mate. Go talk to cage warriors. Let's get it on. Right? He fell into obscurity in MMA. Never heard him since. Anthony Taylor, right? Misfits fucking boxing champ. He called me out. He says, you're the champ. I want to fight you and be the champ. I was like, yeah, Sam, let's get it sorted. Never happened. You're the champ now, Anthony Taylor. Let me fight you for that Misfits belt. That'll be a fucking easy money, that. Easy money. Tag him in this. He'll see.
Yeah, that will do.
Man.
I will do. I love that.
Yeah, and then, he called me out. So I thought, listen, you call me out when I'm the champ. I'll call you out when you're the champ. He's talking about fighting Darren Till. Darren Till was too big for him, surely, man. He's a 79 kilo boxer, Anthony Taylor. I'll do that. I ain't even got to cut no weight for that. Let's do that.
That's a hell of a lineup, man. Second round TKO next weekend.
Yeah. Misfits champ by the end of the year.
Misfits champ by the end of the year.
Boom.
How about that?
And then we'll go Cade Roy's champ by the middle of next. Let's do it.
I love it, man. I love it.
Nice one, Aaron.
I'm very excited for next weekend.
Me too,
Thank you very much for sitting down with me.
It's been too fucking long to being out there, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to it. Like I said to you earlier, fight week's it's unreal feeling. It's amazing. I'm looking forward to it. Drinking loads of this shit. Thank you for having me, Aaron.
Mate, absolute pleasure. Pleasure's all mine.